Hello everybody, it's jrobi. Got something special here for you today. I'm playing Matt Pullen GreenCastleBlock on ChessCube, and we're going to be doing some chess sparring videos once in a while. And the focus of this is to try to bring kind of like a club environment to YouTube here with having a game and then debriefing the game after. So we're going to see how it goes. So we're just waiting for Matt to give the ready here for his introduction on his channel. So you'll get to see the game for both of our channels from each of our own perspectives. So his channel is going to be different, mine's going to be different, but at the end we're going to talk together via Skype call. And that should record, hopefully, if the technology works properly. So I'm going to say ready here for Matt. GreenCastleBlock, by the way, is USCF expert on the verge of becoming a national master in chess. I've been subscribed to him for many, many years on YouTube, and his videos have always been awesome. So definitely subscribe to him if you haven't subscribed to him before. Hopefully there's not a problem. So let's talk about my goals for this video. By the way, this video is going to be uncut, so if you hear background noises, I apologize in advance. That's just the way it's going to be. My goals for this game, I'm not really expecting to win, obviously, but I'm going to... Okay, so he's ready, so let's get started. I'm going to try to get a good grasp of the center here. Let's see what he plays. I think on the next video we do this, I'll be playing black pieces. And we decided to go with 15 minutes because the 5-minute doesn't leave a lot of time for talking. Good luck, have fun. Okay, so I'm going to come into the center right away. So I'm expecting knight there, yeah. Eventual push to e5. I don't know what I want to do. He's opened up access to his light square bishop. So, and he's played c6, so I don't think he's going to be fianchettoing that bishop, so he's going to bring that bishop out. So, I don't want to be too committal, though, on the other side of the board. I want to see what Matt's interested in doing. So I guess I'm just going to go with developing moves. Try to gain space on his side of the board as much as I can, even though I was controlling those already. And try not to make a huge blunder. No, I'm going to go here. E3. We'll see what Matt wants to do. I might even play queen to d2. I don't want to commit to anything yet. Don't want to commit to a kingside castle. I want to watch his dark square bishop there too. It's too late for me to fianchetto my dark square bishop without expending a lot of moves. I don't think he will, but obviously he's got a really good firm grasp of d5 here, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. Okay, so he puts his bishop up there. So I'm going to continue on with development and delay my castle one move. I will be castling next move for sure, though. I just haven't figured out exactly where. So I got to start to think about what he might be planning on doing here. So c5 is going to be coming at some point. His light square bishop's already out, and it's blocked off by his own pawns. So that's something that I can take advantage of. I don't want to commit any pawn moves yet, though. I've got my queen off of that diagonal, so natural square for this knight looks to be d7, or possibly a6 for a c5 push in the future. There's not much I can do to stop that at the moment, though. Man, I'm really excited to see what Greencastle's thoughts are during the game. This is going to be so cool. I know, like, I'm not sure about you guys that watch the videos, but I know for me it's hard to get to a chess club. I think I have, like, the closest one to me is just over an hour away, and it involves some highway driving. So as nice as it would be to get there a lot, it doesn't happen. Okay, so he's getting right into the action here. Okay, so this is going to be a problem for me. He's opening up access for the dark square bishop. He can push the pawn to c5 at his leisure. Can't really reroute the light square bishop. I'm going to have to probably just push my pawn. And then try to deal with this at a later date. Yeah, let's do that. I'm expecting his knight to come back here. And he's going to have monster power on this c5 square. Both of us haven't castled yet, though, so. Sure glad we went with 15 minutes on this one. Gives a bit more time to do some talking during the game. So I know c5 is coming. He hasn't committed his knight yet, though. All my pieces are developed. I wouldn't say that I'm sitting pretty in any way, shape, or form. But c5's coming, so... And I don't want to give that away unless I have to. Another option I'm thinking of here, if he does, you know, depending on where he moves his knight, is bishop to g5 at some point, supported by maybe the pawn here, I don't know. I'm expecting knight to d7. Or potentially, no, I can't see him taking my knight away. Right now, anyway. I want to try to avoid weakening my position as much as possible here. Try to keep the tension as long as I possibly can. Even though it's probably not in my best interest to do that, because I think I was watching a video from Greg Shahade, and he was talking about how the lower rated people you know, tend not to do very well when the tension is maintained for a long period of time. So because the moves aren't as natural, they don't come as natural, I believe he said, because when there's less pieces on the board, you can see things a little bit better, I guess, as a lower rated player. So he's taking a lot of time on this, so he's thinking about something. He's thinking about something. Definitely think that c5 is my big problem. The dark square bishop is my big problem. I guess he could always play his knight down to d4, but I don't. Let's see, knight d4. If I takes, pawn takes. And maybe push h3. I'd like to castle though too. And since this is a monster for me, I won't be castling queenside, I don't think. No, he's definitely using some time on this, so he's thinking about something. Okay, so he did play that. So attacking the queen, attacking my knight. You know, this might not be super bad for me. If I think about this for a second. I'm just thinking if knight takes, pawn takes. No, I can't. Well, no, I could. I could play my knight up to. Okay, let's calculate this. So, knight takes, pawn's attacking knight. Knight to g5. Okay, so his light square bishop's either got to take the light square bishop. If light square bishop takes, probably have to take with the king to protect my knight for the short term. And if after I play my knight up here and he pushes the pawn, I can just take his bishop and let him have my knight for the pawn. So he's going to have the pawn stuck here on e4, which could be a weakness later on, because I can always capture en passant here if I need to. Decisions. Well, he took a few minutes to figure this one out, so I'm going to take a few minutes to figure this one out. I kind of like the option of just taking, because I can move the c-pawn to c3 at bare minimum, and his dark square bishop isn't looking too pretty. His queen will have access to the d file eventually when he plays c5. His knight on b8 still undeveloped, so yeah, I don't think there's much to think about here, really. I'm just trying to figure. I think this will be okay for me. So hopefully it's not a huge mistake. He's already pre-moved the move, so he's got it all planned out. Okay, so I'm going to take the light square bishop if he tries to push pawn up to h3. Or sorry, h6. He can't just take outright, so but I think this will be better for me on my queen side. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take back with the king here. And now I'm expecting him kicking that knight in the very near future. Now when he pushes c5, if I can get a rook on the c file, and he pushes c5, then he'll be helping me out with this not too brilliant looking bishop here. I'm also attacking this pawn here, so he's got to do something. Oh, what am I doing there? Hey. So I don't know what his plans are for that. He's got no checks available. Light square bishop's gone. If pawn push, we'll just capture en passant like we talked about. So what are his moves here? I don't really see much other than taking the knight. If he wants to save that pawn. If he's going to let the pawn go, then he's got, you know, a few different options. But I'm thinking bishop takes knight, bishop takes, and maybe queen to b6, or a more active square for the queen that kind of puts pressure on my queen side. Because I think now he's going to have a little bit more difficulty pushing on the king side. But my queen side's, you know, sitting nice and empty here, so he can easily coordinate something there. And this knight's still looking a little misplaced here on b8. So if he pushes the pawn, no, he can't. I can't see that happening. Okay, so he's going to protect the pawn. Okay. So I think then what I'm going to do is get my rook over here. And just let me check it out first here, though. Which rook do I want to use? I want to get my king to a bit safer position. So now this knight is going to start to look a little silly. But I can't worry about that right now. I need to worry about c5 coming up here. Well, obviously I can't move this rook. I'll just drop my a2 pawn, so that settles the matter. I just want to have a rook opposite his queen. And then maybe, you know, we could do something like... I was thinking something like b3, c4. You know, getting the queen a little bit off of these problem areas. That would open up access to this pawn again. So let's just say rook to d1, bishop takes. Bishop takes. Okay, and he's still got to get his knight going here, though. I think this is doable. I think it's okay. If I can keep up the pressure on his queen, then I think it'll be good. So I think I will weaken my queen side a bit by playing b3, c4. Now he'll see that right away. Yeah, I got to make sure I don't pin anything to my king here, but he's on a light square, so I shouldn't have too much to worry about. You could play the queen to c4. Okay, so here comes the knight. Okay. So knight perched on b4. With potential of using this square here. And I don't have a good answer to that outpost for that knight. Okay. I also don't have a good reply. Well, b3 in the short term obviously takes away the queen issue there, although he always has queen there. So let's just envision a queen here on b5, a knight on b4, and a king. Okay, so I gotta answer this issue with my king here. For sure. Like there's no question I gotta figure that out. Well, you know, I'm just gonna go with this for now, and that definitely does not look good for my king here. But I have c4 coming, so that should help. At worst case scenario, it should help. Fortunately, I've got my queen there. I can bring his dark square bishop too. But thankfully, okay, so he's taking that knight off now. Let's just look for a quickly better move here. You know, I could just take his queen, or not take his queen, but I could attack his queen. Because as far as I can see, once I play c4, the queen will have nowhere to go. But he'll probably fall back to something like d8, and then I don't get the piece back, right? So I'm going to take this. Worst case scenario, the king can ball over here if he needs to. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Okay, so what's he doing here? So he's immediately going for some action here. I've taken away his queen check, though. I've also got a rook on the open file if I open it up. Of course, he's also got the pawn here. If he takes the pawn, what's he got? If he takes my pawn, he's attacking the bishop. I've got queen check. And then what do I got? Well, then I've got bishop check. Pushing the king even farther into the position, and then I've got mate, which probably won't happen against Mr. Castle, Green Castle, but it's a possibility. I think. Okay, hold on. So if I take here and he takes here, then. But I have a move in between, right? If knight takes, no, well, you know what? Oh, I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Let's do it. I noticed my clock was just hit 5 minutes, so I ain't got time to think about it anymore. Okay, so if queen takes, I think I just win this pawn here. If knight takes here, then I'll just take with the queen and just get some material off the board. That's what my plan is. But if he grabs this one thinking that, you know, he gets some firepower on this bishop, which I'm sure he's not. I'm pretty sure that's it. I think I'd have a chance there. Now if I'm missing something huge here, I don't think I am though. I think it's. Yeah. Okay. So he's taking that off the board. Okay. So he's going to get that pawn with a knight. And then what's he going to have with his knight? Not a heck of a lot that I can see. So I think this way, I'm pretty sure I can just double my rooks here. And he's not castled yet either, so that can be fixed pretty quickly. Okay, let's do a quick knight check here. Now, since he hasn't castled yet, and I've got my bishop bearing down on the d8 square, I could probably just double my rooks. I don't see anything that this knight can really do right away, so I think if I just, let's just look at it though. If I double my rooks, then I'm threatening just trading some material off and actually threatening a lot just by doubling the rooks. Okay, I'm going to do it. Oh, I hope I didn't miss any huge tactic. Okay, this just looks like I can play this. Skewer. I think the castle was, I think it was a lot of pressure. I always worry that I'm missing some crushing tactical shot against me, you know? It's like, oh my gosh, this looks too good to be true, but I think with my bishop protecting the d8 square, and okay, so can I just follow through with my, actually, can I just take with the king? I don't see why not. Oh, I think that's fine because I'm taking away his 2 squares here. Alright, so his knight's a little bit misplaced, so I'm just going to take this material off the table and see what we can do. Now this could be very well where I lose the game because Matt is a phenomenal endgame player. So I want to keep this knight looking as silly as possible. So I'm going to try to keep it out of the game as long as I can. And if he plays knight to d7, I'm going to push pawn to f4. And yeah, in fact, I might just push pawn to f4 right now. I don't see a problem with that. Okay, I really like my pawn control here for the knight. If I can just maintain this and then work with my rook, I think it should be okay. I'm not seeing anything too super great here with the knight, so okay, so okay, yeah, he's not going to let me have that. Okay, maybe I can just king will probably come here. Jeez. I'm going to make him spend a move here. Okay, so that knight's still looking a little silly. So I'll play rook to c6 first, and then I'm going to play rook to d6, pinning the knight down for the short term. Burn up a little clock time. Try to keep it under control as best as I can here. Okay, so if I push rook over to d6, does he have a move that attacks d6? No, not really. However, he can start to free his knight. But you know what? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to play. If he does bring the knight back to b8, then I'm going to play. Geez, I had it all figured out too. Okay, I got to watch out for checks here with this knight. Okay, you know what? I'm going to play. Oh. Hold on. You know what maybe I should do is, let's see, if I give the material back, so I take with check, king takes. I don't think that's a great idea. Right now he can bring his knight to c5. He can play his knight to b5 or b8. b8 he'd have access to these 2 squares, which starts to penetrate into my position. So ideally I'd like to have a pawn here supported by this pawn here, so I can achieve that. Okay, so if the knight comes in here though, then he's, well, you know what, I'll just do this first. Okay, so he's coming into the position. Oh no. I don't even really have a good waiting move, do I? See if I push here, knight takes. Push here, knight takes. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Rook here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go with it. I might have just completely bungled this up here. Okay, so let's get our pawn there. And I gotta try a triangulation move or something. You know what? I think I can just penetrate into his position here. Yeah, there we go. I got a passer. Oh man, that was intense. That was intense. All right, so now we're gonna try to flip over to the Skype call.
Hey, jrobi.
Hey, Matt.
Hey,
That was intense, man. That was intense.
that's a good game.
That was a good game. Yeah, that was awesome. Let me just flip back to the beginning here. So we are live now.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so
I guess I can go back and forth between the moves on my board here. So.
yeah, and then they'll be able to see that on your channel, and then I'll do the same on mine. I'm gonna get to the point where I was feeling a lot of pressure from you here.
What move are you at on? I'm going from the beginning.
I'm going to. I'm gonna probably start where I played Queen to D2, move 7.
Yeah, Queen to D2. Obviously, you were intending to castle queenside, right?
I was trying to keep my options open, and I was talking about that on the video because I wasn't sure what you're trying to do. I knew that your knight on B8 was a little bit locked in, and I knew that you could swing him over to A6,
Right.
attacking on the C5. I thought C5 was going to be like the bane of my existence, so I was trying to figure out.
See, here's the thing in the position after black plays D5 and white plays E5. Sometimes black can play knight E4, and try and create some extra tension. And then if there's an exchange on E4, the D file opens and black is able to put pressure on white's D4 pawn. But
yeah,
I don't think it's quite appropriate in this particular position.
Well, I was thinking about. I actually spent when you watch the video on my end, you'll see me talking a lot about what I was going to do there because I wasn't sure. I was thinking, okay, so I actually wasn't expecting you to play knight d4 in that position. And when you did, I spent a lot of time thinking about how I was going to react. Because obviously the queen's under attack, so I got to do something.
Yeah, knight takes knight is really the only serious. I mean, if you play queen d3, that's pretty bad because of bishop f5.
Yeah.
So I guess if your only other choice is to play your queen to the back rank, and then I can just think about like piling on with queen a5 and bishop b4.
Yeah.
And then the more pieces that get traded off is more comfortable for me.
Yeah.
Because I have a pawn structure that's harmonious with the the bishops I've gotten outside of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, taking just takes and then knight g5. Again, I thought this was the correct way to play, and then takes and you took with the king. I think black is just too underdeveloped for this idea to work.
Yeah, I was trying, like, one of my main goals, I kept talking about your knight on b8, that I wanted to keep him out as long as I possibly could. But then when you brought him in, so after you played queen to d5.
Yeah, queen d5, I wasn't sure. There were some ideas where I thought you were just going to play like b3 and c4 right away. And then, I don't know, I just, when I got here, I realized how difficult my position was going to be. And black would like to be playing c5, knight c6. That's the ideal, but I think I had to play, like when you played rook d1, I think c5 is just too dangerous for me, so I had to bring the knight out to a6 to try and, at least try and get my back row connected.
Yeah.
So b3, I thought this was good because after c4, there's really no options for me. One thing, I could play bishop b4 here and then force you to play c3 and then play back to bishop a5. But I think there you just play queen c2, and I didn't see a good way of guarding e4.
Yeah. I was worried a lot about my, like the b3, c4. For me, I was really worried about my king on e2. From your queen hitting a check on b5.
Yeah, but that b2 pawn is really no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't really want to take that pawn because if your rook gets into b7, that could be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
So I felt the take and then c5, and then maybe you can play pawn to c4 here. This was the other move I was thinking of. Pawn to c4, and then I take twice, and then your rook comes to d4, and then I'm losing my pawn on e4.
I thought about it, but then I thought what you'd do is play queen back to d8, and then I wouldn't get my piece back.
Well,
no, I guess I still could.
If I play my queen back anywhere, you can just push your pawn to d5 then. You know, c4, queen goes back anywhere, d5. And now white has 2 pawns on e5 and d5. And
yeah,
you know, black's not castled, and that is quite disastrous. So you took here, and clearly, I mean, obviously I saw that I can't give up mate on d8. So I can't take either pawn. I was considering playing knight c7 here, just to guard the d5 square, but then you just play pawn to c5.
Yeah.
And my knight is now misplaced because now your c4 pawn is taking away the d5 and b5 squares, and the knight's doing nothing. Yeah. So maybe, gosh, maybe I just castle here and let you win a pawn on d5, and then you get to win an additional pawn on e4. I don't know. I pretty much knew where this was headed here. This is takes now. I have to get out of checkmate on d8, and then this. Yeah, I didn't see this coming, but it was rather. I was just too. Is there any other thing that I can do about this here?
Which move are you on? Move 18?
I'm the move after you doubled rooks.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was thinking. Well, if we go back, just. No, actually, we don't need to go back because I know, like, I was thinking that you might have, if I was like having a very lucky Easter day or something, that you might have taken on e5 with your queen.
Yeah.
And I was calculating that, but that obviously wasn't going to happen. So after I doubled.
After you doubled, you're threatening to mate me on d8. So, and when I castled, you played bishop e7. Is there anything I can't guard the d8 square in any other way? I would have to like play f6 or something. f6. That just hemorrhages all sorts of material, though.
Is rook f8 over to c8 available?
No, my king is still on e8. You just played. This is move. Gosh, what move is this? Back up, back up, back up. Oh, 17. Rook a d1.
Oh, rook a d1. Okay.
I think black is just lost here. The only other option is just to play f6, but then just pawn takes f6, and
yeah, the bishop on g5 is just a nightmare.
Maybe after pawn takes f6, I castle kingside, and then you play pawn takes g7, and then I can't really take it because of bishop e7. Yeah, so that would possibly have been even worse than what happened in the game. So castles, bishop e7, and I decided to throw in e3 just in case you decide to take with pawn and let me get knight e4. Now you took with king, and now this is just lost. Traded, and some other moves happened, and I got just a very sad position where my king and knight can't really attack anything. I thought when I played.
Yeah, tell me the move number that you're on when you
get
there.
About 29.
29. I
was thinking your best winning plan would just be to activate your king along king d3, king c4, king b5, and bring the king in through the light squares. And you started doing some other things, which made me think that I might have a chance to survive.
Just wait till you watch my video. I started to say, okay, this is probably where I'm going to collapse. Because I know your end game is beautiful, but like all my pawn moves, if you go back to...
Yeah, given what happened in the game, knight c5 just lost. I played 36 knight c5, after I won the a-pawn, 36 knight c5, and that just lost very simply after rook takes, and you sacrificed the exchange, and I knew you were going to win. Yeah. So there, I mean, the only other real move, any king move loses material, so I have to play knight b2 in that position. But I mean, b2 is just a terrible place to have a knight.
Yeah.
In fact, if I play knight b2, you play king c3, and then my knight can't go to d1 because your rook has that covered, so my knight would have to go back to a4, and then you play king b4, attacking my knight. And again, if I bring my knight to c5, you check and then take on c5. It's the same thing as the game. If I bring my knight to b2 in that position, then you play king b3, and now my knight is totally trapped. Again, my knight, with that awkward knight square on b2, there's really very few, there's very few ways I can get out of that corner, and you have them all. So again, if I play knight b2 instead of knight c5, you simply win a piece.
Yeah.
So knight c5, and then, well, this is a very obvious win for white. Wait, so you played, oh yeah, you push. Well, I guess that's fine.
Which move?
I guess it's, it doesn't really matter. It's in the position where I was just pre-moving endlessly and trying to survive with my lone pawn. So yeah, that was a good game. I took a gamble with knight e4 in a position where it was totally unnecessary, and you played pretty well.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your side of the thought process when I go back, and you'll see me. I was under the pressure a lot there in a lot of key positions. I was just like, as we got into the end game, I was like, okay, this is probably where I'm gonna die, because in all your videos, like, your end game play is awesome. But I had the piece. That's the only reason.
Yeah, that is not a position where the knight can really prosper, because there's so much that I have to guard against. Basically, I have weak pawns on both sides, and yeah. Anyway, let's cut it off now, and I'm gonna upload, and you'll upload to your channel, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Thanks a lot, Matt. I enjoyed that. Take care.
Yeah, let us know, guys, what you think of this format. And
yeah, thumbs up if you guys want to see more. Make sure you check out each channel. Leave thumbs up there. Subscribe to Matt if you're not subscribed, vice versa. And thanks for watching.
Yep. See you later, jrobi.
See you.
Bye.